Cat's sitting on your head, man. Look at you, little goofball. Yeah. Okay. Hello. How's everybody doing? We've got some fancy pants stuff going on here. So, special little show. I don't think it'll be too long, but we're going to go over the press release that NextBridge just sent out, and it is there's a shot across the bow, and then as Iggy put it, there's shooting someone in the leg to let them know you're serious. And this is NextBridge shooting someone in the leg. They really did a doozy with this one. It's got just as much meat as the one they did a couple weeks ago. They did two press releases today. One about the 40 million direct share offering to probably some insider or whatever. But this is delicious one. It came out, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half ago. And I want you to see it. But first, one of these. All right, turn it off. Ding dong. There we go. Sorry, phone's blowing up all of a sudden. Also just coming in, Fidelity has apparently run out of shares and cannot transfer anyone's NextBridge to AST. Try as you might, not happening. I put up a how-to on the subreddit, how to transfer your shares, how I did it with Fidelity, but apparently people are using that script, and Fidelity's like, no, got it. So, interesting. Things are getting juicy, man. They are getting juicy. Okay, we're gonna read this guy and follow along. So NextBridge Hydrocarbons Incorporated releases statement. NextBridge Hydrocarbons, an oil and natural gas exploration and production company with interests in Texas and Oklahoma today, provided the following statement. They start off very, very sweet and like, let's be nice and kind. And then they stick the knife in and they twist it. Our company has reviewed the recent written response from Finra and the SEC regarding the U3 halt of the Series A preferred shares of Metamaterial Incorporated that traded under the symbol MMTLP and potential outstanding short positions in NextBridge. We have further been made aware of calls by Congressman Ralph Norman for a congressional hearing regarding MMTLP, which we and our chairman would gladly participate in to help supplement the factual record on relevant events. NextBridge management has differing perspectives on certain key points expressed by Finra in this letter. We will share these perspectives if given the opportunity in a meeting we are actively working to schedule with representatives of Finra and the SEC's Office of the General Counsel. However, we hope the meeting can be largely devoted to discussing forward-looking and productive options for jointly addressing ongoing investor concerns. Basically saying, hey, we want to talk settlement. You guys need to bring us what we want because Congress is about to have your head. That's basically what they're saying. They're like, let's discuss these things. It's like saying, as per my last email. They're like, fuck you, buddy. Read what was written. Okay. NextBridge firmly believes that we and our investors have a right to know, and Congress and the SEC have an interest and duty to understand the total aggregate outstanding uncovered short positions held by foreign and domestic institutions that exceed the issued and outstanding shares of our company. It's very important. They exceed the issued and outstanding shares of our company because both the SEC and FINRA keep alluding to, well, AST has the share count. No, they have how many shares should exist. This is the crap that Adam Aaron was doing. When people were asking, we're demanding a share count for AMC. He's like, well, we just checked and we still have 517 million shares. Oh, that's not what we're asking. We want to know in all of the brokerages how many shares supposedly exist, what the short position is, what the naked shorts are, how are 4.5 million investors all have probably an average of 1,000 shares each, only adding up to 500 million. That doesn't make any sense. So this is them explicitly pointing out we want to know how many shares exceed the total shares outstanding. The information that AST would be able to provide. Unfortunately, this important figure remains unknown. We call on Finra and the SEC to make more proactive ownership role in completing the necessary accounting for several key reasons. First, FINRA and the SEC have access to resources, investigatory powers, and foreign information sharing tools, and we rely on them to serve as champions of the full and complete trading facts for the investing public and the U.S. companies whose securities are publicly traded under their oversight. Basically pointing out like, hey, these are our markets. It's your job to be in charge of them. That's your entire role. So don't be like, well, we can't figure it out. Second, we believe this information is necessary to help clarify potentially misleading information that has been disseminated to investors and the public. Finra issued an Investor Insights frequently asked question on its website stating that there was an aggregate short interest position in MMTLP and accounts held in broker-dealers as of December 12th of approximately 2.65 million shares out of 165.47 million shares outstanding. FINRA went on to characterize this volume as not significant. We infer no intent to mislead by FINRA. They're like winking, like, hey, we're totally going to try and believe that you want to be honest. But we note that the statement was not qualified to make clear that the scope of the data available to FINRA under the investigatory powers it cited was limited, and thus it implied a categorical summation of the entire uncovered short position in Nextbridge. Subsequent to our most recent press release of January 19, 2024, this is a good one, that's a good press release, go read it, calling for short interest data from all sources, foreign and domestic, whether registered with FINRA or not, we observed that FINRA clarified in its letter to Congressman Norman that the short interest figure it cited was only based on U.S. member data and not that of domestic or foreign non-member entities that could act as custodians or agents holding securities for others, including foreign registered broker-dealers. However, repeat its assertion that the short interest position it saw was nominal. Unfortunately, we believe this is a consequential blind spot for FINRA's data because foreign firms have approached Nextbridge about procuring more than 2.65 million shares. But they're saying, we have written offers from hedge funds that exceed the numbers that FINRA was claiming in the frequently asked questions and to Congress. And you have to think about the foreign firms. The foreign firms are most likely offshore banking havens, British Virgin Islands, Cyprus, Canary Islands, Bahamas, Panama, Singapore, places like that where U.S. doesn't have jurisdiction, right? And there might not be reporting requirements in those areas, but you can still open a brokerage account and have access to everything in the U.S. markets. So the U.S. has got to figure out something, how to regulate foreign interest in the U.S. markets. Anyway, moving on. If FINRA is unable to report on the entire universe of the outstanding uncovered short positions in Nextbridge, including short interest positions held via foreign brokers, we request that they maintain full transparency of this fact, communications with interested parties, and refrain from descriptions of the short interest as inconsequential until this is borne out via comprehensive investigation. They're basically saying, like, shut your mouth, boy. We also believe further clarification regarding the limits of the data available to FINRA would be helpful for investors. Our company is also concerned that uncovered short selling activity might have been carried out by entities that are also exempt from SEC registration or via transactions that are otherwise exempt from reporting. Swaps? Anyone? We understand that the SEC does not disclose any details regarding its investigatory activities, but our concern is that the SEC's letter refers Congress to FINRA and our company for the share data Congress seeks, which, as explained, will likely not result in full picture. We're happy to provide information that may be beneficial in helping the SEC scope the necessary sources for data collection in any investigation it may elect to undertake in the future, including any that may require the cooperation of foreign counterparts. Basically saying, look offshore, look at those Brazilian swaps, look at the Canary Islands. Third, we believe there's an onus on FINRA to help resolve ongoing investor concerns due to the role it played in the events that led to the U3 halt and the subsequent confusion resulting from the halt itself. FINRA stated that it determined the U3 halt was necessary and appropriate to protect investors and ensure a fair and orderly marketplace. Unfortunately, many investors continue to communicate great frustration that the halt accomplished quite the opposite and could have been avoided. They're pointing out, like, you fucked up. We do not intend to litigate FINRA's decision-making in this release, but we also would like to ensure that we clarify certain points on which we have a divergent view from FINRA in regards to the corporate action announcing the Nextbridge hydrocarbon spinoff and subsequent U3 halt. Since the issues are actively being discussed in public releases to our investors and publicized letters to Congress, As an initial matter, we take issue with Finra's repeated assertion that Finra's role is limited to reviewing and processing the corporate action submission and announcing the corporate action to market participants, unless the corporate action documentation is found to be deficient under Rule 6940, in which case Finra may determine not to process the corporate action. We do not believe this describes the role Finra played in the MMTLP corporate action submission process, nor does it offer a complete recitation of Finra's authority under Rule 6490. First, Finra drafted the initial and revised corporate action notices on December 6th and 8th, 2022, with an instruction that the issuer was not to edit or interpret it. So basically, Finra wrote it, and included language that we believe itself became the source of market confusion. For example, while Finra describes the notice to Congressman Norman as consistent with information provided by metamaterials, it is notable that the notice actually introduced a new instruction that MMTLP shares would be deleted on December 13th, a date never before contemplated or referenced by the issuers, and which may be found difficult to reconcile with Meta's announcement that the distribution of NextBridge shares would take place the next day, on December 14th. Indeed, it was never proposed to Finra to add December 13th cancellation date or deletion date, and adding such date created an unnecessary restriction to the corporate action and shareholder MMTLP. Basically saying, we submitted corporate action, Finra wrote their own, they inserted crap we never intended to be in there, and then they complained about the crap that they inserted. That's what I'm saying, that Finra did this. Finra is the one responsible for creating this mess. In addition, Finra's Rule 6940 allows it to refrain from processing requested corporate actions altogether if determines not processing is necessary to protect investors and the public interest and maintain fair and orderly markets. In other words, the justification Finra ultimately used for issuing the U3 halt was available to it at the outset of the process when any concerns could have been addressed by the issuer. Instead, they evidently did not discern a compelling reason to reject the processing of the announcement, crafted a different announcement, and allowed trading to continue through December 8th, 2022, then initiated the U3 halt shortly thereafter, when the markets were closed and all participants, short and long, were frozen. Since nothing regarding the corporate action and the issuer's contemplated record or distribution dates changed between when the corporate action was submitted to Finra review and when the U3 halt was issued, aside from the introduction of Finra's own announcements, we remain confused as to why Finra did not simply reject the corporate action announcement at the outset, rather than issuing a halt for extraordinary circumstances, to the great surprise of the issuer and retail investors. The end result was mass confusion that persists to this day amongst our investor base, many of whom feel they were unnecessarily and unfairly denied 2 days of trading, and which would have also given parties with millions of short positions the opportunity to cover or close. It's short, it's sweet, it's brutal, and it basically lays the blame at the feet of Finra for fucking this whole thing up. Absolute chef's kiss to the corporate counsel who wrote this thing. They picked it apart. Exactly. Finra violated its own 6490 rules and made this mess, and then had to all of a sudden halt trading. Couple this with the fact that we have info that came out from that retailer investor summit they did in 2018, showing that when they do a U3 halt, they go to the market makers and discuss it before they halt. But they told Congress, we told no one about this halt. So it seems to me that Finra either through negligence, gross negligence in dereliction of duty, approved the corporate action and then freaked out without doing their due diligence before approving it, or they specifically changed the language in the corporate action so that they could justify a U3 halt to save the shorts. There's only two options there. Either they didn't do their job properly, or they're working for someone and it's not the public. So either one of those results are a terrible thing to have for someone who's granted powers by Congress and allowed to manage a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund on top of that, when they're supposed to be regulating the markets free and fairly for investors. They obviously didn't do that. This to me is so delicious, and just like my mouth is watering. Just, I wish I could turn it into a burrito. Because they're going to come out straight saying, like, we have the receipts, Finra. You screwed up. It's never going to be okay. Your lives, until this is resolved, are going to be miserable. and people aren't going to stop calling. Congress isn't going to stop subpoenaing you. You're screwed. So let's have a discussion with you and the SEC about forward-looking things we could do, such as 2 days of trading. That's what I think they're implying, or a giant cash settlement on a per-share basis. So, And if that doesn't work, I think they're going to take the Nuco shares for all those who direct registered theirs, and they're going to blockchain those suckers, and it's going to be impossible for shorts to get their hands on them, which is going to cause those things, the price on those things, to go through the roof. Because you and I, because we got screwed, we're holding to tens of thousands of dollars if those things start trading, right? Maybe more. We will bankrupt them because they must provide that dividend to all shareholders. So if you are in a Fidelity account, right, or you're stuck in Webull or TradeStation or IBKR or any of these other brokerages, and you didn't transfer, you didn't get access to those shares, those shorts are going to be required to go to T0 or whatever blockchain they're using, buy them out of our accounts, and then give them to the brokers where all their short shares are. So I think Wes Christian, McCabe, the T0 folks, the guys that set up T0 for Bed Bath, are working on something that's going to absolutely just brutalize them. And it could all be avoided if they just allow 2 days of trading or a giant cash settlement. I think that's what they're looking at here. So short, sweet, to the point. And, as Orwell said, you don't use any more words than you have to get the point across. Oh, Orange Cat wants to come in. Come on, Orange Cat. Come on. Come in. Come on, buddy. Orange Cat. Come on. Come on, buddy. Or you can just sit there by the door and rub your face on it. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Orange Cat. We're going to spend 2 minutes of you just waffling in front of the door here. Come here. Yeah. Well, if I pet you, then you come in. There we go. All right. Orange Cat in the house. And now she's going to stand by the door and scratch to go out. Super chats are in while I was reading all this. Let's see here. We got Cameron Mirza. Marty Morantz Rants. He does not have a real educated up 3. That's why I watch you. Apparently not for views. It's important that a real educated opinion. Some of his dudes are popping in like being the most pedantic. I'm just being a devil's advocate. No, you're not. You're being a weirdo apologist for short shills. So get out of my subreddit. Brant Ray and McCabe as our back. I think we are in good hands. I think McCabe, here's what I think is going to happen, is that McCabe is probably finding a whale. They're going to direct sell those 40 million shares to a whale or to insiders or something, right? And those 40 million shares are going to get these T0 tokens, these Nuco shares, whatever they are, and it's going to raise an absolute boatload of capital that this company will never have to worry about trying to raise money again. Right there, you're trying to scratch to go out again. Ding dong. You just came in here. Don't try to scratch to go out. Just chill, man. Dude, how about if I pick you up? How about I pick you up and you can become orange lab cat? There we go. Come here, you orange doofus. Okay. Oh yeah, let's make a Big Houston here.
Houston, we have a problem.
Day in, day out. All right. Boom. Orange cat head poking up. Yeah, so I think that they're going to be able to raise just an insane amount of capital with the Nuco shares, which is why the Nuco is specifically for exploration and exploitation of the oil and natural gas assets. So if they can somehow raise like $80 bajillion with those Nuco shares, then they never have to worry about anything ever again. All right, Orange Cat, you can keep scratching the door. Get the hell out. Brief visit by the world's most annoying Orange Cat. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff all around. Ludicrous speed. I feel like Finra and SEC don't respond within a couple of weeks. Next Bridge will release another statement that absolutely nukes them. Like, we're being approached by shorts wanting to buy 500 million shares. Ding, ding, ding. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. That they're hinting at, like, it's significantly more than the 2 million you said. And they're going to like waive, offers from these offshore hedge funds or whoever and be like, this is how many that they're requesting. So what's your answer to that? How are you going to regulate this regulator who isn't doing their job regulating? And it's delicious. It's pretty. It's neat. It's wrapped in a bow. And man, the confluence of events that are happening, it feels very 2021 to me. The companies themselves have been working on this stuff for 3 years or more, plotting and planning and seeing just how they're going to ruin the day of market makers and short hedge funds. And now I think these ideas are culminating. They're patient. They dot all the I's, they cross all the T's, they measured twice, cut once. They did all the little groundwork they need to, and they have multiple stages to it. So as you can see from this press release, like stage 1, take company private. If that doesn't work, right, then we've got an ability to show just how many shares are still out there. And it's going to be more than what is officially reported. 2, basically nudge the regulators, be like, hey, man, we're going to need to negotiate something. And if you don't, phase 3 is we're going to nuke you with this blockchain thing. And then on the other side, you've got Ryan Cohen. Ryan Cohen, activist investor, goes into GameStop, gets rid of every hedge fund shill that was inside GameStop, fired them all, refused to pay Boston Consulting Group because their advice was basically like nuke the company and destroy everything from the inside. Managed to pay off all their debts, turn the company over to the point where it's making a profit, and now they've got money they can invest in other companies. Then he goes to the board at Best Buy, at Bed Bath & Beyond, to do the same thing. And the board there, the hedge fund assholes, the board really, really fight him. He managed to get a little leeway, but doesn't get control of the board. They do the share buyback, screw him over. And he's like, all right, we're gonna go with plan B. And plan B is the nuclear option that I didn't want to do, but I guess we're gonna have to do it. And I think that's what we're seeing unfurl at BBBY is the nuclear option that Cohen's going with. So these people are planning multiple steps ahead. They're playing like the 4D chess or whatever. It's quite amazing to see unfold. I am an impatient man. They are infinitely more patient than I am. I am so impatient, and I want that sweet, sweet taste, the good life that this can afford. Until then, all I have it as is for pure entertainment reasons. Like, I am being entertained by this. Are you not entertained? But I would like to also be able to bathe in it at some point. Wouldn't that be great? So, there you have it. They go through those. I got some time. I may as well go through questions here. Trey3 made it here first. First name, last name made it here second. Aunt Your Friend made it third. Juicy said that press release, eh? Well, Juicy, it is Juicy. First name, last name, this must be good shit if Houston is doing an impromptu show. It was. Flame emojis. Case Chapman, press release is fire. Yes. BDB Brand, I've been asleep. I wonder what's happened. 654, cocaine hookers who become S. The press release kicks ass. Let's fucking go. BDB Brand, yes. Calling out their word crafting and glaring omissions, the thing investors have been doing for a year. Yes. And you know, what's good is the shill, what the shills love to do. First of all, they'll counter whatever to say. Like, well, the official regulators say this, and I am so rigid that I cannot possibly see another outcome or possibility. And then they'll gaslight you, and not only will they gaslight you, but they will use psychobabble speak in order to not only gaslight you but make you feel like you're crazy. Like they'll say things like, "I'm really worried for your mental health that you're clinging on to this. You know, you might want to talk to someone about this because these delusions," and they will use these like Orwellian methods of gaslighting you and to try and make you think that you're a crazy person. And here we are, right? More than a year removed from the halt, and it is readily apparent that we were right the entire time. That we nailed it from the get-go. We nailed it 3 years ago, and we're right now. Right now, we are right now. And that you know, it gives you like little warm fuzzy feelings on the inside, right? Like, hey, we were right about this. These are shenanigans, and now we've got proof these are shenanigans. So they can try to keep trying to gaslight us, but we can just go, "You fucking idiot. You're so screwed." Like, I'll be honest. If and when a payday comes, and if it's deliciously ridiculous, and, you know, like Private Island Rich, or, you know, buying my ski and ski out lodge at Whistler, whatever, that will be wonderful. But I think the most contentment I will have is hunting down on the internet every shill who tried to gaslight me and tell me I was full of shit and just rub their little noses in it. Why? Because I'm a petty bitch. That's why. That's why. I would love to just see what you did. Look what you did. Rub their noses in it. Because they deserve it. They deserve to feel small and bad and dumb. Just, I have no problem being that petty. None. And you know what? I'll probably have the financial resources to spend a lot of time doing that and just be like, "Oh, yes. Oh, you were so dumb to doubt me." And we can go from there. Work for you? Creole for breakfast. All shills are latrine attendants. First name, last name. Belgian Welsh, give that travel forever money. First name, last name. Oh, cat. Cattail karaoke. Houston, I have 5 Blue Sky codes. You'll still need them. Should I post them to YouTube channel? You no longer need Blue Sky codes. Blue Sky on Tuesday opened up to everyone. So no more invite codes. It's no longer invite only. All of you, if you want, can join Blue Sky. They set up the infrastructure to allow cajillions of people to join if they want. And so no more need to give away Blue Sky codes. They finally upped their game and they're ready to go. Bex, what do you think will happen with Acme? It's now got to run up 100x before, more than before certain events. It would really like to sell Acme for a lot. Well, some bad things, some bad signs. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm not talking about it. I am just merely showing something that's available to you on the internet. So think about that. All right, scroll up. Nope, wrong one. Not you. This one. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling, Houston. You're almost there. Keep going. There it is. All right. Kitty, stop it. Nope, stop it. Stop trying to move it, dude. Is it coming up? Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. So here is the headquarters, which just got finished last year with a giant grand opening, 68,000 square feet. Call for information. It is up for lease or sale. That's not good. That's not a good sign at all. That it's empty and done. Cat, quit doing that. So my guess is that the hedge funds couldn't do what they wanted to do with NextBridge, and they've done what they want to do with Acme. And here we are. Just absolute grossness. is disgusting what has happened. If I were a CEO of a company that should be worth tens of billions of dollars with intellectual property they have, and they've been shorted down to a market cap of like 16 million, I would reach out to some, I don't know, Greek shipping billionaires that I'm friends with and be like, hey, let's take this company private and honeypot this bitch. That's what I would do personally. If I were like a Greek wheeler and dealer who had connections to some billionaires back in Greece who, you know, aside from spending time in their mega yachts, may want to do some interesting things and kind of shake things up a bit. That's what I would lean towards. Wink, wink, nod, nod, finger guns. Okay? So, not a good sign, this. This is a sign that the members of the board, current members of the board, should possibly be facing a class action lawsuit and Rico charges for misappropriating their fiduciary duty. This is obvious that they fucked up and they did it real quick. So like, where are they even working? What are they all just like in someone's garage right now? Like, what's the point of building this big, beautiful headquarters if you're not going to use it? It's brand new. It's full of labs and manufacturing space and all the things you need to make the things that you're supposed to sell. And why are you not using it? No me gusta. No me gusta. All right, Kat, your butt is in the way, but your head is so soft and fuzzy, isn't it, buddy? Kevin Rannon. Happy birthday, Houston. Another powder day in the trees today. Thanks for the memberships, pros and cons of not transferring MMTLP to AST. What if trades again? How realistic would a cash settlement be? Thank you. I mean, I transferred mine because I think the plan B is get people the tokenized stock. That's what I'm leaning towards. That's what the crystal ball is telling me, that they laid the groundwork and they're letting Finra know that, hey, we've got the T0 guys working on this. So when we issue new shares, it's going to be not in the regular exchange. It's not going to be OTC. It's not going to be New York Stock Exchange. Not going to be NASDAQ. It is going to be T0, whereas a blockchain, and you can't fudge it. You can't fake it. You can't do any of that stuff. So get us what we need. I think if they negotiate 2 more days of settlement or two more days of trading or something along those lines, that it would be at a set date to give us time if we need to get out of AST and back into brokers. I don't think they'd just be like, well, it's going to be tomorrow. And then all of a sudden, all of us AST have no ability to sell because AST is a garbage program when it comes to selling. Yeah. If they do give 2 days of trading and you're already in a brokerage account, you're cool. If they don't, and we get the blockchain thing, you might not be on the best end of that. So that's why I just did what they said, and I DRS'd because I have a feeling that Finra and the SEC are playing a game of chicken that they're going to lose right now, and they think they're doing a Mexican standoff, and they're not. Like, MMTLP has guns pointed at both of them, right? And Finra and the SEC are like pointing rubber bands back. It's just not. It's not there. Monkey, don't be a whiner. Come on, get up in your bed. Come on, get up. Get up. Don't whine and claw at me. Don't whine and claw at me. Get up in your bed. Come on, get up there. Get up there. Come on, get up there. There you go. You stare at me from there. All right. She's just staring straight at the nuggies. All right. Your brand looks like press release from NextBridge pointing out the obvious flaws in the recent Finra frequent questions. There's so much more that could be said, but it hits a few high spots. It does. It just dink, and it's like more to come. Stay tuned for season 2. All right. Chris Taylor likes the bonus show. Brandon Wells is here. Len Hernandez. Should we wait to transfer until solid instructions? Don't want to miss something by being an AST. I mean, it's up to you. I transferred. I think Finra and the SEC don't have the balls to regulate the way they should, and that the NewCo thing is what's going to undo everything. That's what I think. So I transferred. And that's, we'll see where it goes from there. Next bridge throwing haymakers. Seriously. And landing. Oh, it's just like, stop it. He's already dead. Cali Bowl, Houston, MMTLP and BBY will collapse the whole system. Mm-hmm. And then everything else will go with, all the other short stocks will go with it. It's going to be chef's kiss. Ludicrous Speed, I'm glad Next Bridge has our backs and the balls to put out a press release like that. Yep. And that they probably emailed it directly to everybody they could at Finra and the SEC. Like, Lynn Fernandez, and Fidelity. Avocados, I'm usually cooking when you come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Glad to catch you live. Welcome. Lynn Hernandez, am I effed? I don't think so. Phil, Fidelity is sus. Possibly. Joseph Lee, remember the other day that you said that you caught a case, which is why you aren't running for open seat in Congress. What case did you catch? Oh no, I've been tied up in the courts for almost 6 years now. Most of the viewers know about this, and my stalker loves to try and paint it as if I'm the bad guy here. I wrote a series of articles basically putting a spotlight on men in my community who hurt women and children and got away with it. Really heinous stuff. 2 of them ended up going to prison, federal prison. One just vanished, gone, poof, and 2 decided to sue me. I won hands down one of the cases, which resulted in that man, who was a lawyer, losing his law license. And the other case, shenanigans happened, and I ended up losing, and I lost, not in a good way. Basically, during COVID, they went more than a year and a half without filing any paperwork. In Washington State, if you don't file any documents, the court is required to dismiss the case if you go more than a year with no documents being filed. They went a year and a half, no documents filed. I was like, sweet, court's going to dismiss this case. We're out of here. They suddenly started filing documents, and they did not send them to me. They said they sent them to me. They said, oh, we sent it to Houston service address. Here's, the affidavit we signed saying we did it. But they didn't include, a picture of the envelope, tracking numbers. It wasn't sent certified. And they did this for 6 months. And they ended up getting a default judgment against me because I didn't show up to court, because I never knew there was a court date, and got a $500,000 ruling against me, all based on me not showing up to court to defend myself. So it's in the appeals process right now. Many things have happened in that case. We found that the document of which they based their default judgment on was never actually submitted to the court. So the thing that they're like, hey, he did this wrong, give default judgment, the judge never actually saw that document because they never showed it to him. Also, the plaintiff, I've got record of him physically threatening witnesses, 10 of them, a whole trail police investigation related to it. And then the fact that they weren't serving me properly. So I've been tied up with this court crap for 6 years. And hopefully, I'm waiting on the ruling from the appeals court, which I would have hoped would have come out by now. They did the hearing in October, but I still have not heard as to what the results are. Kitty, I'm going to pick you up because you keep just sitting in the way, being a fatty booble laddie. Go over here, hang out, put your butt on things. Yeah, so that's why. But yeah, don't hurt people, man. Joseph Lee, and how much of these bank failures do you think are from us holding our meme stocks? I think the bank failures are not necessarily from the meme stocks, but they are contributing to the derivatives obligations that a lot of these banks have. Most of the bank failures are these smaller banks, these regional banks, because the regional banks, their main cash flow is doing real estate development, like loans and bonds for real estate development. And so when the building boom was happening, like pre-COVID and stuff, and interest rates were really low, lots of people were like, hey, let's build, let's take out loans, let's get these bonds. And they were piling in on these bonds. The problem is once inflation hit, we had to raise interest rates. And the result of those interest rates going up meant that the fixed rate, low interest rate bonds all of a sudden were worthless, because why would you go on the market and buy bonds that are at 1% when you can buy bonds that are at 8%, right? Like, why would you do that? You want a bigger payday, you're going to go with the one that gives you 8 times the payday. So those bonds became worthless, and those bonds are the major holdings of these regional banks. They did not jettison them when they should have, which is what the first inkling when interest rates got raised. They should have just like sold all of them and gotten out. And the fact is that post-COVID, a lot of people now work from home. So office space is essentially useless for a large chunk of the country. And a lot of this real estate development was for commercial real estate space. And now these developers and real estate investors are like, well, the building that we took $1 billion loan on, or bonds on, is now worth $100 million. So we're not going to pay it. And so they tell the bank, like, hey, bank, enjoy your building. We're walking away. And the bank's like, oh, no. And that is what is doing in these small banks, these regional banks. The bigger guys, they do have the liabilities of the margin that they lent to everyone for these meme stocks. And my guess is you can get a 1-2 punch out of that, because if a lot of banks take a big dip and real estate takes a big dip, then there's going to be folks who are going to have to sell off blue chip stocks, their Amazons and Nvidias and Facebook and all that stuff. And the price on that's going to drop as they flood the market. And that's going to increase the margin for the hedge funds who are messing with our short stocks. So it's all this like big incestuous system. And if you pull on one string, a bell rings somewhere else. And that's kind of where we are. Where's the money, Turkish? Kevin Abarca. I need my money just spec'd out the 2024 Lambo. Flight Guy 99. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah. Jiminius Houston. Why would NextBridge deny any wrongdoing when they first went private and now be so direct? Wouldn't it have been better to be on top of this the moment it happened? I think a lot of it was they couldn't publicly come out with it until Finra addressed it. So if they came out and said certain things publicly and not just like, hey, regulators, this stuff's going wrong, which I think they did, and Finra just rebuffed them. So now they're just did sort of like a proper chain of command, if you were. Like, we went to the government, we went to the regulators, we went to the investigators. They're not doing what they should be doing, so we're going to lay it bare for the public to see. And this is going to, twist their arm behind their back until they yell uncle. So, Andrew Stewart, I'd love to finally get a win. Well, you did get me this shirt, so that's a win in my book. Brazilian swaps. Yes. Okay. Belgian whale. I'm going to the Canaries on the 19th. Forteventura. Any offshoring you want me to look at? Yeah, just open up a few shell companies while you're there. That's I think they give you a shell company when you get off the plane there. So it's like getting a lei over your neck when you get off the plane in Hawaii. Joshua Dean, DTCC, Finra, and SEC all collude with Wall Street, and I am so ready for them to be taken down a notch. Let them be hung by their own petard. Coffee Dudes and Homer. Is this press release hitting any of the major news outlets or any of the financial stations? I don't think the major news outlets will talk about it until it's unraveling everything. Then NextBridge and MMTLP and MMAT will be like front page news and business sections and magazines and on, the nightly news, like the small oil company in Texas has brought down the entire U.S. economy. And they'll be talking about it then. But until the billions or trillions are being paid, mainstream news is just like, not going to pay attention. So it's not news until people are hurting. And that's like, they didn't talk about GameStop at all until the week GameStop went hyperbolic. That's when they're like, oh, GameStop on every nightly news broadcast and on every newspaper. So it's it'll take a while to get there. They won't do anything until it's actually punishing those responsible. Okay. Make sure that, okay. I'm waiting for a guy to come over and give me some advice on fixing the rear end of the car I bought. So I think he'll be here like an hour. So I think I'm okay. Hodl, New Zealand. I am not an MMTLP holder, but very interested in what happens. I have to wait for my BPY payout for any riches. Ditto. I've got my couple of flavors, and all I need is one of them to go big, and we're cool. Because I will definitely dump that into GME and GME call options, and I'm sure all of you will as well. And that sucker will go whee along with it. So just give me like 2 days from payout. Finance gods, and allow me to just load up on call options and GME. That's all I ask. Just please. Apparently a big put position got opened up on Nvidia as it crossed $700. And the puts is like $2.2 million in puts for February 23rd, somewhere in there. I was looking, puts are so expensive on Nvidia, but man, they'll pay off huge. Like in just a month, it's gone up $150 or something. So that's $15,000 per option that's gone up per call option. So if it goes down something similar at some point, because it's a great company. They've got great products. They provide a lot. It is incredibly overvalued nonetheless. It's like Tesla having a market cap of $3 trillion. Like, it is not worth it. There's nothing about it that means it should be worth that much. It was a slow squeeze, and it was a cult of personality that brought it there. Nvidia is propping up basically the entire S&P 500 right now, and it's being pumped up. It's like there's pumping that balloon, and then that balloon's going to burst at some point, and it's going to fall back to where it should be, which is probably a couple $100 a share. And then what? Well, if you got puts on that, you're making $10,000 every $100 it drops. So you're cool. Fatal Wraith, muhaha. When jail. I think MMTLP has got a Rico case on their hands. I think they've shown that if Finra isn't claiming gross negligence by violating their own standard operating procedure and rules, then it was done on purpose at the request of someone else. And if they can get their hands on communications between Finra and market makers and hedge funds, which I do think exists, I think without a doubt those communications exist, then they've got an open and shut case, and Finra would lose immunity, probably cease to exist as a regulator, and a new form would have to be created by Congress. Hopefully one that's not an SRO, that's actual, like, I don't know, member of the government, so that Freedom of Information Act requests can follow through. This is the crazy thing about SROs, is that they're a private company doing work for the government. As a result, they get the immunity of the government, but they also have immunity from Freedom of Information Act requests because they're not part of the government, even though they're basically doing the work of the government. So you can't sue them, and you can't find out information that's going on inside of them. One of those two things has to give, or both, because if they aren't acting in good faith, what can you do to make them act in good faith if you can't sue them? And if you can't prove that they're acting in good faith because they don't require to give you the information openly like the government would, it's like they have superpowers, and they should not. No one in this country who does work for the government or is congressionally appointed by them to regulate should be free from oversight of the people. That's just that should just be a no-brainer at this point. So it's not like they're doing classified military work. They're regulating the market. So just show us what you're doing. Show us how you regulate. Let us know what the hell is going on. But no, it's like this black box and you just can't look inside. Confidence and Homer. I am watching to see if GME should be DRS2, protect my shares, or if I should let them stay in Fidelity. If GME is coming out with some sort of like, hey, we're going to do a crypto dividend or whatever, it's only go to DRS people, I would jump on board. At the moment, since the DRS chain has happened on GME, the price has only gone down. The volatility has vanished, and the price is just like, it's just been hanging out down here. It may just be coiling for a rocket ship at some point, but certainly it's been boring. I'll tell you that much. Trey Spider, Houston. I got my letter from AST regarding my transfer, but Fidelity is still showing my Express shares in my account. I'll be calling Fidelity tomorrow to see why they are still in my Fidelity. Weird. What you should do, no, don't call them, see why they're still in your Fidelity. Call them and direct register again. That's how you add to your position. Is that Fidelity keeps forgetting to delete them from your account, and they go, oh, we got 1,000 shares in here. I'll send them over to AST. And so you might be able to double your holdings. So Trey Spider, try that. Try to use their incompetence in your favor there, Trey. Yeah, don't be like, hey, why are they still in my account? Call and say, I need to direct register my shares. They'll be like, oh, looks like you did some already. I'm like, oh yeah, the ones that are still in my account, let's direct register those too. So keep going, man. And if they fuck it up again, do it a third time. Just keep doing it. Add to your position that way. Why not? You know, it'll take them years to figure out the accounting on that. Confidence and Homer. If AST can tell how many shares are out there, then why can't ComputerShare tell how many GME shares are out there? Well, AST can only tell you the total shares outstanding. They can't tell you how many shares are out there. Just like ComputerShare can only tell you the total shares outstanding. They can't tell you how many GME shares are actually out there being traded. Avocados, oh please, oh please, oh please. Schwab said this morning they would send to AST. How long did it take to get notice from AST that they had them? It's exactly 4 weeks for me when I transferred from Fidelity. But apparently Fidelity is not transferring anymore. That's the word that I'm getting, is that people are running into a wall now with Fidelity, which makes me think that their paper block of shares no longer it's been used up. Coffee Donuts and Homer, does Finra Blue Sheets hold the tally? Not specifically. What the Finra Blue Sheets will show us is who was selling and who was buying. It basically will tell us where the failure to delivers were coming from. Failures to deliver were coming from. And so that's what they'll tell us. And if you get enough of them over a long enough period of time, because each day, theoretically they publish a new one, right? You can be like, oh, this market maker sold 200 million MMTLPs and never bought any. So they sold more than the float and never bothered to cover that position ever. So obviously we are naked more than 200 million shares just from this one market maker. That's what the blue sheets will tell us. What it won't tell you is how many shares are in each account. And that would come from basically a request by the SEC or FINRA to the brokers. That's like, hey, tell us how many shares in your accounts. And the brokers would type in like MMTLP or NextBridge or whatever, and then bring up all of their users. They would summate that entire column, send it to FINRA or Congress or whoever that's somebody they have. And then you just take the aggregate of all those broker dealers, add them together. You're like, okay, there's this many in the US. Now we're going to ask foreign brokers. And Congress can have the power to ask these foreign brokers, be like, hey, foreign brokers, give us a tally, an accurate tally of how many shares you have of this stock in your brokerage. And if you don't give us the accurate tally, we will cease to allow you to trade in U.S. stocks. That's what they can do. They have the power to do that. So these brokers are going like, okay, this is how many we have, because they can't not trade in U.S. markets. This is the top market in the world. This is where you invest. So yeah, that's they're gonna do something, and it's where we are. Julio, going to need you to go on for another hour because Tucker Carlson's interview is all over X right now. Ugh. Yeah, Tucker went to Russia. Cat, shut the hell up. Can you go out there? Yeah, you can go. Okay, come back in 2 minutes. I'm gonna punch you out the window. Yeah, he went to Russia to go hang out and like, well, Russia's the best place in the world. Everyone should be in Russia, and interview Putin with most likely probably the softest softball questions in the entire world, because it appears that Tucker Carlson is a Kremlin mouthpiece. I mean, he's really hammers down on Kremlin talking points every chance he gets. And it sounds like the EU is now putting forward this legislation to ban Tucker Carlson from any European nation. And like, Elon Musk is really upset about that because he's like, meh. But like, he's violating sanctions to go do a propaganda piece for his boss. So yeah, they have every right to ban him from their countries. So Tucker won't be able to take his mistress to Paris anymore, or the Amalfi Coast, or south of France. Confidence and Homer. Foreign actors should not be able to open short positions. That makes sense to me too. Suljo, any thoughts on ZJYL? Apparently people were issued fake shares, and if they sell, they'll be treated as a short and charged if there's no share to be delivered to a new buyer. What? I have not heard this. I know someone said that their account was up like 120% last night when it went through. Oops, I did the wrong letter. I was like, that's not the right stir price. Okay, so now it's at $12.96. Big drop. Oh, no, that's because they didn't update the chart. Still, they haven't updated the chart yet, so it still has the high at $260 and now the low at $12.96, but they haven't adjusted the chart for that yet. Medical price boost. I have not seen anything come out about that yet. I don't think people have fake shares. If they do have fake shares, it's through no fault of their own. So if the broker does try to do shit like that, the broker's at fault. And so you would have a healthy class action lawsuit, on your hands against the broker. So I don't think that's going to be the case. But yeah, it went through, and it looks like it's good to go. So opened at 1360, finished at 1296, after hours at 1263. Okay, that seems to be all right. We'll see where it goes from there, Suljo. I would not think that people have fake shares in their account, and if they do, it's not their fault. It's the short. It's their fault. Okay. Jethro, I thought the SEC squashed Nuco today. They technically can't. I mean, technically, NextBridge doesn't have to file anything because they are not a publicly traded company. So they did SEC a favor by filing the S1, but they can do whatever they want because they're not a publicly trading company. So I don't think the SEC can really squash it. And if they do, well, NextBridge will come up with something that will probably be even more diabolical. Avocados try to be first today. Where is, I lost my spot again. I just flipped here. Oh my gosh, I'm really far behind. Okay, that's that one. Okay, that's that one. Pure American BBYQ latest docket thought. Is that the one that's like, hey, we're wrapping things up? Where's my crawl? Is that my crawl? That was my crawl. Crawl restructuring. Why? Yeah, docket info. That's where I want to go. That's the stuff. Okay, affidavit of service filed by Kroll administrative. This is the one I believe, or certificate of service. Which one? I can't remember. To-do. Yeah, save it. Whatever. Open it. Bring it on, dummy. Let's get this thing. Let's get this shoe on the road. Okay, you go there. You go there. You open up here. You go... Adobe. Adobe's open? Adobe's open. Okay. Date of service. Okay. Is this the one? Notice of entry of order approving the disclosure statement on final basis and confirming the second amended joint Chapter 11 plan of Bed Bath & Beyond and its debtor affiliates and current effective date docket. So that's what this is. So docket number 2311. So we go back to docket 2311. Come on, close. Why don't you close? Close. There we go. Docket 2311. 2311. Let's go 2311. Boom. 2311. 2311. Last. Oh, there it is. That's what I want. Boom. Two, 311 is... Oh, no. Oh my God. Go away. I don't care. Order approving disclosure statement on final basis, confirming the second amended joint chapter plan. Take notice that honorable blah, blah, blah. Copies that blah, blah, blah. Take further notice that scroll. Why are you not responding, Adobe? You're just a PDF. What is going on? Why do I have the blue screen death? Okay. Oh, still can't scroll, huh? You're a 1 megabyte PDF document. What is your problem? Okay. Anything delicious in here? Effective date. Please further notice that otherwise provided final order. Court. Proof of claims. Respect to claims. Rise and rejection. Next jury. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think anything too exciting here. People who care more might find something juicy in that. I'm not, at a quick glance, not seeing anything like, ooh. Make of it what you will. Okay. Where was I? The best thing would be if they found lithium at the Oro Grande now. They did. I think they did have in one of their releases, they were talking about there being a coal seam. So they have oil, gas, and coal, apparently. G. Kelly, why do regular people have to fight regulators for a free and fair market? Exactly. If the investor class as a whole is angry at you for not doing your job regulating, then perhaps you should do your job regulating, right? Maybe, perhaps. But the status quo is rich guy tells regulators what to do, and regulators go, yes, sir. And then they collect their little money on the side or get their cushy job after they leave the regulator. And that's what they do. So I would love to see... Oh, that's what I should put in. Here we go. All right. Retail Investor Bill of Rights. 12. No one who has ever worked in private equity shall be allowed to work at a financial regulatory agency. Boom. You cannot bounce back and forth. You leave the public sector and go to the private sector, you cannot come back. Ever. Done. Poof, that's it. No bouncing back and forth. We want people who are focused and career-driven and who want to see a free and fair market succeed. I want to see, law professors and professors of finance and economics being appointed to run these agencies, and not somebody from Goldman Sachs or Chase or, Citadel or whatever. You should not be allowed to go from private banking or a hedge fund or a market maker into the public sector and then regulate your own wealth. No Steve Mnuchin's, no Gabe Plotkins, none of those people should be allowed to be in those roles. So There we go. There's another one for the Investor Bill of Rights. Just thought of that. Okay. EJB in India, is there a way MAP benefits from all this manipulation? I mean, the reverse split, I think, really screwed things over. Because before, for every 2 shares you were short on MMTLP, you'd have to buy 1 MMAT. So if that thing exploded, the other stock would explode with it. Now it's for every 200 MMTLP, you'd have to buy 1 MMAT. So 200 MMTLP closing out at $10,000, $100,000 each, whatever, and you have to go out and you have to go buy this stock at a $297. Like, who gives a shit? So I don't see it helping. Hodl, New Zealand. It feels like my BBY investment will never pay out. I know I need to be patient, but it always feels like life has already moved on. I want them to pay. Me too. I'm very curious to see if the hearing on the 14th goes through or if they push it off into March. My feeling is if they push it off to March, it has everything to do with the pump and dump case not being done. So first and foremost, pump and dump case needs to get done, and then we can hear some deliciousness out of Bed Bath & Beyond. So, yes. Billcoin, 4,870 shares of GME. Please, Lord, just one time in my life, let me win one. Let's get it for you, man. To do SJs, liking the update. Thank you. Philip Tang. Like they peed on the floor. Exactly. Rub their noses in it. Make that little smear go across their snout and let them smell it for a long time. Hey, it's Minkim. They will delete their accounts when this happens. Oh, they definitely will delete their accounts. But a few of them who are legit pieces of shit, they'll still be there. And I'll be like, you suck. Avocados Houston needs a shirt that says petty bitch. Petty bitch. Jealous Money 9501. Sup, Houston? Still holding from Australia, mate. Looking forward to seeing these fools getting some time with Big Bubba in the showers. Wouldn't that just also be a nice little cherry on the cake? Like, icing on the cake, cherry on the icing, whipped cream, topping the thing. Well, I don't know what metaphor I'm trying to use here, monkey. And all you're doing is rolling your eyes at me. Yeah, that would be a nice cherry on top. I think that's the phrase I'm looking for, cherry on top. Yes. Icing on the cake, cherry on top. Cherry on the icing on the cake. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, they make them pay. Make them do time. Rub their noses in it. That's all I'm asking for. Ford ZZ9 Thursday show. I was not ready. What's your take on RC tweet? Like from yesterday? I think it's tongue-in-cheek. I think it's poking fun at companies that are in trouble that do share buybacks to boost their stock price, and then all of a sudden can't like buy inventory and stuff like that and have operating expenses. Let's make our share price really high and then make it so that we can't operate anymore and have to declare bankruptcy because our stores are empty. I think that's what he was poking fun at. Ford ZZ9s, the 14th look good for BBY. Any kind of info? If there's a hearing on the stuff that they're supposed to have a hearing on, it looks good. If they push it back again, because it was supposed to be in October, then they pushed it in November, then they pushed it to December, then they pushed it to January, now they pushed it to February. Here we are, going on 5 months since it was supposed to happen the first time, and they may push it another month, and so we can sit and wait. Len Hernandez, if we get locked out fast by Fidelity because they have no more, what then? Then we have further proof that the naked share count is astronomical. That's what we have. Oh, locked out of AST, not locked out fast. Locked out of AST. Yeah. Baby Brand, I can't access emojis on the entirety of YouTube across 3 browsers. Should ask DRS GME guy how he does it. G-America Teddy Moas guy. Thomas Dubois is here. Do you say Dubois or do you say Dubois? Dubois. Ferda. I think Dubois sounds so she. Citizen 54, Eileen Cannon is a traitor to this nation and belongs in prison for helping Trump by releasing witness information and names. Yeah, so apparently a witness was being threatened, and they had suspects, they had to know who it was, and the special prosecutor went to the judge and was like, hey, we need to keep this sealed because we're still doing the investigation on the threats against the witness, and we need to keep the people who did it sealed and the victim's name sealed. And Cannon was like, nope, release it to the world, which fucked up the investigation and put the poor witness's life in danger. Yeah, she needs to be recused from that case. Whoever is the presiding or the what do you call it? Chief Justice of that district court needs to step in and be like, you're done. So we're putting someone else on this. Huddle, where's Houston reading the other chat messages from? It's from this chat. You have to click on live chat to see what people are putting down. I learned that like 4 months in. I don't know why they don't make live chat the standard chat, because like the top chat is just YouTube randomly decides who gets to have their chat seen, and I don't know why they do that. I am all for everybody being able to see all this stuff. Julio, member of Federal Society since 2005. Ugh. Go double intro. What's the most realistic conservative timeline on NextBridge shareholders getting paid? That's hard to gauge because, like, if let's say as a result of this press release, and I assume they had lawyers send it to FINRA and the SEC general counsels, right? Let's say that, yeah, they have some sort of negotiation happen, right? And that negotiation, my guess is McCabe goes in there swinging a giant dick because he's got Congress behind him. He's like, look, we're going to show that you lied to Congress on multiple occasions and were actively not doing your job. And if the investigation finds you weren't doing your job because of gross negligence, that sucks. If they find out you weren't doing your job properly because of Rico, of racketeering, you're going to prison. So let us negotiate 2 days of trading. Let us negotiate a cash payout. Tell me what it is you're going to require these shorts to do, and we'll do it. Because if you don't do that, we come with the full force of the federal government, who has subpoena power now, and they're going to get every communication you've ever done. Things that you thought you hid, they will uncover and have forensic investigators and accountants and crime scene investigators. They'll be going through this whole thing and pulling everything out. On top of that, we will issue this NUCO onto the blockchain, which will bury those short hedge funds as it is. And you'll be blindsided by it. The public will be blindsided by it. And you're going to get the blame for not being on top of this. So, what's it going to be? Pick one. Pay us now, congressional investigation, or pay us later. Which one of those three seem to appeal to you the most? That to me is the three main options. And readily apparent, I think FINRA and the SEC they're just going to keep their mouth shut and not going to do anything, and hope that game of chicken that for some reason McCabe swerves last minute, and he has no reason to do that. He's gonna come like a freight train, and the little bodies of FINRA and the SEC are gonna bounce off of it like mosquitoes and just get eviscerated. I think they're set up with a multi-pronged attack, and that multi-pronged attack, it's a battle plan. It is a battle plan that prepares for pretty much all contingencies. So now, if FINRA and SEC go, okay, fine, negotiation, it can be over in a matter of weeks. If it is congressional investigation, that might be like 6 months to a year of hearings and maybe a special prosecutor is appointed and so on. If it is the T0 blockchain, I think that happens within 60 days of the S1 being approved. So if the S1 gets approved, they go to blockchain within 2-3 months, and that's it. So in there is something, and it feels like it's snowballing right now, but there's still time for them to have to like stall and whatnot. It does seem like the SEC is dragging their feet on the S1. It's supposed to be within 45 days getting approval. When was the last time they submitted their amended S1 for that? It's got to be like 6 weeks ago. I think it was before Christmas. So they should be approving that thing or telling them to write it again or whatever. Bill Coyne, if I was a manager at Finra, I'd take early retirement and take a very long vacation overseas. Yep. Live off that government pension and, I don't know, sit on a beach in Phuket and just ignore any subpoenas that might be coming your way. Lobi, I have 3 generations of the Lobi family watching this right now. Thanks for making this info easily digestible. My pleasure. I still need to send your book. I don't have a car at the moment. The car I drive completely gave up the ghost, and the car that I bought, I am not allowed to drive yet until I fix the bumper, so I've not been able to go to the post office to mail this thing yet. If the weather's nice this weekend, I can take a long walk to the post office in Monkey Butt, and we can go do it. But there we go. $4.09 Houston, you sci-fi guy? Yes. If so, what's your take on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series? Fantastic book. Movie was okay. I think they cast the wrong dude to play. Oh my God, what's the main character's name? Trying to go back 30 years in my head. Martin? No, that's not his name. Crap. It's gonna bother me now. So I'm looking at IMDb. There's a dude from the British Office, and I just didn't think he was that cool. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Martin was his first name. That's right, Martin Freeman. That was the actor's first name. And the dude who played him was... Wait, where? What the hell?
They fell off a truck.
Yeah.
Maybe they heard that Xfinity...
Yeah, Martin Freeman played Arthur Dent. I don't think he was the right cast for that. I like him as an actor. I like him as a person. I thought he was great and like The Hobbit and stuff like that. But I think it should have been Simon Pegg. I think he would have been a fantastic Arthur Dent. Absolutely just dry, and I think it would have been a lot better. I think Mos Def was a great casting. I thought he was great. I thought the movie itself was just well done. But the books are way better. The books are some of the best, funniest sci-fi out there. Almost as funny as the Red Dwarf series. Red Dwarf series might be the funniest, most well done sci-fi book series I've ever read. People think, oh, the TV show, and it was written by the creators of the TV show, wrote the book series, and it is so good. There's like 4 or 5 of them. Man, they're just like every chapter you just feel good. You're like, oh, that was funny. I feel great. So I highly recommend if you like Hitchhiker's Guide, read the Red Dwarf books. They are just, we're doing lots of Chef's Kiss today. Mwah, mwah. They're fantastic. Cran Green gifted 5 Usaway memberships. I Not Your Friend got one. MS got one. Hans R got one. Biz Rip got one. And Don Caesar Shadem got one. Fantastic. So we got 3 lurkers who I've never seen before got memberships. Thank you, Cran Green, for exposing the lurkers. Casey, TB, so tell me the world's greatest fund manager of all time, Ken Griffin, who has a consistent returns picking stocks better than anyone, picked Ron DeSantis as the best presidential candidate? Ta-da! Yeah. Oops. And spent like $150 million of his money to get Ron DeSantis like 400 votes. What was the total? It was like $30,000 per vote is what Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign ended up paying. Because they only participated in Iowa and then they had to drop out. So $30,000 per vote. The previous record holder for the most money spent per vote in any election was by Michael Bloomberg, and he spent $400 per vote. And people thought that was insane. Almost 10 times that is what Ron DeSantis spent. Yee. Thomas Dubois, Rico equals asset forfeiture. Bingo. All right. Owen Saunders' new pro spinoff shares have been stopped, by the way, was in the first corporate action today. Was that what the first one was? I saw that they were doing 40 million share offering, but I did not see. Nope, not that one. Where is? Oh my goodness, I had the other one. Did I totally misread? Next bridge. Registration update. Okay. Furthermore, I remain committed to exploring things. Next bridge is amendment number 2 is S1 registration statement related to its registered direct offering of 40 million shares. SEC requests additional disclosure from S1 registration statements. The company submitted amendment number 3 of this S1 registration statement. Next bridge will provide an update soon as it receives the next response from SEC. As to the company's S1 registration statement regarding the subscription rights to receive common stock in a future subsidiary, McCabe commented, SEC has requested that we withdraw our registration statement at this time, file a new registration statement in the future, following formation of the subsidiary and completion of full audited financials of such subsidiary. NextBridge has made necessary filings to commence request withdrawal and is considering if NextBridge will refile the registration statement with the SEC's requirements. Oh, okay. So basically that they're like, hey, we're going to make this subsidiary have shares, and apparently they hadn't actually formed the subsidiary yet. So that's what they're saying. So, I totally, for some reason, glazed right past that. But they don't need to register to do it. They don't. They're a privately traded company. And if they intend for those tokens to not trade publicly yet, they don't have to do that. Oh, my dad is calling. 1 second. Uno momento. Might as well throw a butterfly in here, right, Mikey?
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, there we go. I might as well throw some butterflies at you while you act to my dad. And turn off the butterfly intro, Houston. Turn off the butterfly intro. Where's the butterfly intro? Did I turn it off? No, there it is. Okay. I could do like 10 more minutes or so. Why not? MS Houston, what is the best way to see how many retail investors have capitulated their meme stock holdings? Not a clue. Not one, I don't know, without, I guess looking at, you can look at the, like, Fidelity has a good daily chart as what the hot stocks are, like buy versus sell and whatnot. And for the most part, like GameStop has been buy every single day versus sell. So people are buying more than selling every day for the last 3 years on GameStop. So that's showing that people are not capitulating and selling. I'm sure you can see other stocks that way. For a long time, AMC was that way, but AMC now is showing sell oftentimes more than buy because people are like, Adamir screwed us. Yeah, I think a lot of folks, they have them, they bought them, they set them, forget them. They may have been active in the communities, and then just like, you know what, I got other things to do, and their stuff will sit there. And then once they start seeing like news pop up on their like NBC nightly news report, they'll be like, oh, it's happening again. Excellent, time to get back involved. People have life, and so I don't know exactly how hard difficult it'll be to see who's capitulated and who hasn't. Belgian Whale still have my MAT1 $1.5 call my first trade account. They are still worth the same as before the reverse split, and I can't sell them right now. Interesting. Huh. Tucker. I don't even know her. Derek Horse. Does the company have to cover the difference between what they're able to get back from the property? I don't know which one this is referring to. Don't know. I can't quite answer that. All right. B2B brand Freedom of Information Act request revealed for requested time period that the SEC received 56,490 complaints about MMTLP in emails, but has only responded to 35 of them. Yeah, I found that interesting as well. I did see something from them last year sometime where the person who like is in charge of the office that gets the complaints was like, we've never had more complaints about a single stock ever than we have about this stock. So they really shit the bed on this one. Yeah. Trey Spider, Houston, I'll be trying to retransfer my expert shares from Fidelity again tomorrow. Do it, and good luck. Brenda Queen of Swords. The ZJYL split was and is a clusterfuck. People are not getting shares. Brokers saying they don't have shares. JTCC has them, and some brokers not trading at all says give them till Tuesday. That sounds about on par for the way these SROs are operating. Yeah. Thomas Dubois, Houston, is there really any benefit transferring MMTLP shares to AST? Is the offer still on the company to give any additional proceeds, oil assets, say from Oklahoma, if we transfer? I have a feeling that the next bridge is going to that big oil conference in Houston to possibly sell the assets, because if they get a huge cash offer, then they're cool. We get paid out. Short hedge funds have to pay a fortune, PILs, etc. But I don't think that they're looking at Nuco branching off assets. I think Nuco is going to be a 10% holder in the assets, and then be the company that does the drilling and exploration, while NextBridge holds the assets. So I think that's the plan that they're putting forth. Confidence and Homer, about 5 more weeks of GME quarter 4 financials. I need to have a little play money by the middle of March to do my options play on that. Chris Teese, what I love, he allows me to go through the press release while driving to work. Big thank you for me, Houston. Well, my pleasure. Jay Geyser, ad number 13, no overseas shorts. Well, I think borrowed short positions are cool. It's the naked short positions. I think I already had no naked shorting. Yeah, number 1, no naked shorting. So overseas or what? If there's a failure to deliver, you should be punished, not just financially, but legally as well. Yeah, make fines larger than the crime. That is another, I think, important one. Is like, let's say you sell stock for $10 that you don't have. You just sell stock doesn't exist for $10. You take $10 and there's a failure to deliver. Your fine should be $100, and it should go to the person you sold that stock to. It shouldn't go to some, enforcement agency. It should go to the person you screwed over, the person you committed the crime against. and it should be painful. And if you do it, if you sell it once, you get a demerit. You sell it twice, you get a demerit and a $200 fine. You sell it 3 times, you are no longer allowed to participate in the markets ever again. Your entire brokerage, your entire hedge fund, done. Liquidated of all your assets, sent packing. That's what I think should happen. So I'm all about making it absolutely brutally painful. And because if the crime, if the punishment is greater than the crime, they're not going to do the crime. It's not a passion. It's not like a passion crime like murder. You know, in the heat of the moment, you lose your mind and you're like, oh, my wife was cheating on me. And you like murder both of them, Shawshank Redemption style. That's a crime of passion. You aren't thinking about the consequences afterwards. But if you are plotting and planning a financial crime, like selling shares that don't exist, because when you get slapped on the wrist, it's going to be 0.5% of the money you made, then you're going to be like, oh, that's just the cost of doing business. But if the price is 1,000% what the financial crime is, you're not going to do it because the entire point of everything is to make money. And if you can't make money doing the crime, you're not going to do the crime. So I do think fines should be larger than the crime. If a bank gets busted spoofing $100 billion in stocks, they should have to pay $200 billion on that. Right? Make it bigger than the crime. Jay Geyser also added, if your ticker trades on American exchanges, your company must relocate headquarters, billing, taxes, all are in the U.S. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to have your ticker be in Dubai. You should have to, like, if you're going to move your Halliburton to Dubai, then, you know, your ticker moves to Dubai. If your headquarters are in the Cayman Islands, your ticker is in the Cayman Islands, right? You shouldn't be able to operate in the U.S. and pretend like you're an American company, but your headquarters are using a shell company in Ireland or whatever. Yeah, I agree with that. I would put that under Jay Geyser. Let's do that one. 13. If your company is trading on the U.S. market with a U.S. ticker, then headquarters, operation, and taxes should all be in the U.S. Boom. I like it. Oh, it did 13 twice. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Okay. I like it. I got like 3 minutes. Confidence Homer, oh my God, the stress of having a $500,000 judgment on you, I would be a wreck. I mean, I feel like I did the right thing. I managed to protect a lot of people. I sent some bad dudes to prison. Several guys may never get laid again because it's easy to go clickety-clack-click. Oh, that's a red flag. So, you know, I feel okay. I feel okay with it. $500,000 judgment does suck, and I really hope that the appeals goes my way. I feel like I hit a home run with the appeals. Like in it, I pointed out, because when you do an appeals, you've got to take all this documentation from the district court, or sorry, the superior court, and send it to the appeals court. So you have to say, oh, I need this document sent and this document sent, and the dates and the names of documents. And one of them was the interrogatories. So the interrogatories are these series of questions that they ask you and you have to fill out. And they give instructions. Like, these are the instructions, interrogatories, and how you fill them out, and exactly for each question how it should be done. And then you have the questions themselves. And one of the questions they had was, give us a list of all potential witnesses and their names, and if you have it, their phone number and home address. So when I had it, I put their phone number and home address. When I didn't have it, I would try to internet search, find a Facebook page or a Twitter account or an email address or whatever. Maybe the last known work location. And I put that in there. So I had like, I don't know, 50 witnesses or whatever. And I did not have a phone number and home address for every single solitary witness. They complained to the court that I didn't provide a phone number and address for every single solitary possible witness. Therefore, I was obstructing their ability to question witnesses. And I was like, excuse me, but in your own document, you said in the instructions to only put it if I had it. And I did it for if I had it. And I tried to find a substitution if I didn't. Also, 10 of these witnesses on this list that you don't have name addresses for, phone numbers for, you managed to threaten to not testify, which is a crime. It's a felony. It's witness tampering. It's a crime. So you can't complain that you haven't been able to contact these people, because it's obvious you're contacting them because you're threatening them if they testify. So there you go. And the court granted the default judgment saying I had to supply a phone number and an address for every single solitary potential witness. I asked the Superior Court to send the interrogatories, those questions and answers, to the appeals court, and the clerk at the Superior Court is like, we don't have that. I said, you don't have the interrogatories? Like, no copy of them whatsoever from any date. And they're like, nope, never been submitted by the plaintiff. I was like, interesting. So in my filing, in my brief to the appeals court, I'm like, hey, this default judgment ruling was based upon a document that apparently the judge has never seen because it was never filed with the court. The plaintiff responds. The plaintiff's like, objection, Your Honor. Facts not in evidence. You cannot include something that has not been submitted to the court. And I was like, but you just admitted to withholding evidence from the court, and then the court made a ruling on the evidence they never saw. So throw this bitch out. So I'm hoping that between that, the witness tampering, and the violation of due process by never serving me documents and getting that default judgment against me, goes in my favor. They claim, so I used my friend's restaurant as my service address because I didn't want them knowing where I live. The dude's creepy. I don't want him anything to threaten me in the past. Don't want him knowing where I live. So they, in their affidavit they filed to the court, was like, yes, we sent all the documents on this date to this address at the court, at the restaurant, and see, we did our thing. And so when I filed to have the judgment withdrawn with the Superior Court due to violation of due process, the judge was like, well, they said they served you. I'm like, yes, Your Honor, they said they served me, but we got nothing. No tracking numbers, no certified letters, no checks the mail ever saw it. We got nothing whatsoever. The judge was like, well, I'm not going to grant your motion. If you can come back here with proof that there's a regularity in your service, then I'll grant it. So a few months later, my mom has to get her hip replaced. So I stay at her house for a month and help her out while she's, recovering from hip surgery. And I discover that they were sending legal documents to her house where I lived 20 years ago. Not to me, to her. So there's this stack of letters from them. They said they were sending it to a different address and send it to my mom's house, which the court had already explicitly said, do not send things to Mr. Wade's mom's house. That's not where he lives. That's not where he wants a service address, whatever. So they lied to the court about where they were sending the documents in their affidavits and sending it to somewhere completely different and having them delivered there. And so I went back to the court. I was like, look, Your Honor, they lied about where they were serving the documents. There was a regularity in service. This is a violation of my due process. Throw this entire case out. The judge was like, well, you got the documents eventually, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. 6 months after you made the order, I never had the opportunity to defend myself. He's like, well, tough. So it was such a weird court experience. And my friends who are lawyers are like, this is messed up. This should never have happened. The judge should have been like, oh, weird. He showed up every day for 3 years to these court hearings, and all of a sudden he's not showing up anymore. That's weird. Maybe we should call him. Maybe we should figure out where he is. But there was no attempt made. There's nope, we're just going to rubber stamp everything they say, $500,000 judgment. And it's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. But, roll the punches, I guess. Can't do anything about it until the appeals court makes a decision. I can do one more. I ranted too long on that. Cabo, NextBridge, and the SEC has already said they'll never open up trading for MMTLP. Can we rule that out already? How would that even work since everyone has different QSIP and various brokers? My guess is you would roll back trading for the 165 million, whatever shares are supposed to be there. So some of the new shares have been issued since then to insiders could trade. They won't be able to trade anyway because they're insiders. And you basically say, okay, we're issuing a QSIP for everything. We're going to set a date for position close only. It's going to be 2 days. Position close only. Brokers are going to be required by the SEC and Finra to close out every short position on this stock in those 2 days. And I think if that was the case, next year would be like, yeah, we're cool. We're cool with that. Close everything out in 2 days and we're good. No matter what the price is. The hedge funds may be given an opportunity to go out in the market and buy what they can. But after a few hours, it's going to be the hedge fund or the brokerages closing the hedge funds positions for them and the market maker positions for them. And just being like, well, we're buying any share we can at whatever price possible. It's coming out of your accounts and from your prime brokers accounts. And that's it. We're done. I think that's what they would negotiate. My guess is that's going to be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a share. And they don't want that. Instead, they'll probably try to figure out some sort of cash offer. Be like, okay, we'll pay you $500 per share and close this out and be done. And then, if they pay some sort of fine of $500 a share for the 165 million shares in existence, and then the company turns around and says, we're going to pay a special dividend to our shareholders of $500 a share. And then all of a sudden the PILs from the short hedge funds are going to be $500 and probably be tens or hundreds of billions of dollars. And that's another way they could do it. So there's options on the table. The longest taking one's going to be the congressional investigation. And if there is some sort of special counsel appointed for that, then people at Finra are probably looking at criminal charges. And they, pay the fine, blow up your buddy's hedge firm, or do time. Like, which one are you going to pick, right? Because you're going to get busted lying, Congress. And you're going to get busted having communications with these hedge funds and market makers that you said never happened. You're going to get busted for that stuff, and that's going to involve Rico charges. If that special counsel is allowed, they get free reign. They can investigate anything that comes along: obstruction of justice, perjury, Rico charges, fraud. Like you don't want to be on the other end of that. That is a juggernaut that is just going to be brutal. So I don't think McCabe cares which one, as long as it gets people paid at this point. Okay. I'm going to do a show tomorrow. It might be a late night show tomorrow. I don't think I'll be able to do it in the daytime, especially if the weather's nice. I've got some work on the car I've got to do. So I'll see you guys then. And yeah, peace out, Girl Scouts. I'll see you later. And I need to do which one? I did the butterfly. I did the other intro. We can do that one. 10, 9, 8.